Salumayag Youth Collective for Forests has four main areas of engagements. First is forest and farm regeneration. We do our forest regeneration efforts mainly in two ways. First, we have a demo farm, which is the site for our food forest. It is owned by the other co-founder of the organization. The main focus in that site is really regenerating water sources and the slope areas to prevent landslides, which is a hazard in this area because people are already planting corns in the slope areas, thus increasing the chances or the risk for landslides. So to mitigate that, we are planting native trees along the slope areas as well as in the water source areas that is located within the demo site. The other way that we are doing our regeneration effort is by partnering with local farmers. Because we are in an indigenous context, much of the land ownership here is determined by clans. So it is the local farmers who are usually the leaders of each of those clans who determine what are planted, what could be planted within their own farm areas. So we work with them, we train them in doing mappings so that they themselves could determine the critical areas that needs to be regenerated. So while working with the farmers, we also conduct dialogues so that there is a depth into what the work that they are doing, so that they understand why they need to rewild, why they need to regenerate their land, especially the critical areas. So that's first, the forest and farm regeneration. Second is the dialogues and trainings. We are also working with the local youth leaders here so that it is really the youth who are driving force in this regeneration effort, because it is from their vision of having the forest closer to where they live, closer to their community center, that Salumayag was formed in the first place. We give space for them to talk about the challenges that they are facing in terms of farming, in terms of livelihood, in terms of the relationship that they have with the forest and how that's important to the kind of person that they are today. The third component to this is environmental storytelling. A huge part of that is also empowering indigenous young people to learn leadership skills so that they can participate in important discussions, especially related to the climate and biodiversity. For communities such as the ones where we are operating, they do not often have that opportunity to have a seat on the table. So one of the goals of Salumayag Youth Collective for Forests is to not just provide that space for discussion, but to also create a support group for the young people so that they feel empowered to give it a chance to try their best and learn the right skills, the right attitude, develop the right attitude to become leaders of their community. The fourth element in our work is social enterprise. This is the area where we are still trying to learn how to navigate around the challenges that we are facing. Right now, we are exploring collective farming, which is very much rooted in the traditional farming practices of the Manubo Kulamanon. It is when people or local farmers pool together different resources, work on one farmland, and they also share in the harvest. So it's not just a way of doing farming more efficiently or doing farming more economically, but it's an important cultural and social process of coming together. Much of the impact of monocropping, corporate controlled, mainstream agriculture is the emphasis on the money, on the individual, on the monetary gain, that the sense of community, of togetherness has been lost, which has been the essence of farming for many of the indigenous communities. So our effort in developing, strengthening the concept and the practice of collective farming is pursuing a viable livelihood for the people while staying rooted to who they are and strengthening their community spirit.